Good day, sir. Good day, classmates. For today's report, we will talking about in chapter 6, which is the sources of short-term capital. And we have two topics from there. We have advantages and disadvantages of short-term credits, and we have the supplier of short-term funds. But before we end these lessons, we should be able to determine the importance and demand of supplies of short-term funds. But before we proceed, let me introduce myself. I'm Ribosara Leslie, BSBA FM1A, reporting for the topic 1, which is the advantages and disadvantages of short-term credits. So when we say advantages and disadvantages, is it advantages, this is the good, then the disadvantages, this is the bad effects when it comes to credits. So let's just read the advantages of short-term credits. We have number 1. They are easier to obtain. When we say they are easier to obtain, the risk involved in lending funds varies according to the length of payment period. Long-term credits are more risky than short-term credits from the creditors' points of view. Because of this, creditors make short-term credits easier to obtain. So that's the number 1 for advantages of short-term credits. So number 2, we have short-term financing is often less costly. When we say short-term financing is often less costly, in as much as long-term financing involves more risk, short-term credits is often granted by the creditors at less cost. So that's the number 2, and we have number 3. Number 3 is short-term financing offers flexibility to the borrower. So when we say short-term financing offers flexibility to the borrower, after the short-term credit account is settled by the debtor, he may elect to use other sources of credit. Long-term financing does not provide the borrower with this option. The debtor is stuck with the terms of the long term for a longer period. So let's just go back in the number 1. So when we say they are easier to obtain, it means it's fast approval. When we say it's fast approval, it is a short-term loan who is suitable for people who need quick access in cash. It's just like a payday loan. A short-term loan application can be approved within a few hours, depending on the lender. In some cases, we will have access to the funds within the same day or the following business day. So, okay, let's just proceed to the number 2, which is the short-term financing is often less costly. So when we say short-term financing is often less costly, it is the when you pay interest typically longer you owe to the lender. It is the higher interest you will pay. However, with a short-term loan, we will be paying back everything within a shorter period, which is mean when we pay less interest as well, we will still have some money even in the interest rate is higher compared to the long-term loans. And it can help us to improve our credit rating. Unlike the long-term loans, we have a luxury of choosing a short-term loan that will suit personal circumstances. For example, if we had a bad credit history, then we can take a short-term loan for a few months to help us to improve our credit score. So it's just those credit when it comes to credits, it's all based in the lending is they usually look for those credit score. So for example, if we had a bad credit history, then we can take a short-term loan for a few months, then it will help us to improve our credit score. As long as, of course, if we repay the loan on time, they will see our credit rating improve. Then for number 3, then yeah, we have short-term financing offer flexibility to the borrower. So when we say offer flexibility and reduces stress, it reduces stress. I mean, these types of loans provide convenience and flexibility. We can apply for a short-term loan any time of the day since most lenders have websites. We will have, so yeah, when we say offers flexibility to the borrower, yeah, most of the lendings actually have a website. Like you can search them online. Different lenders have official website to check their accounts, then what they offer, something like that. Then we will also avoid the stress of owing the lender money for a longer period and watching the interest accrue, which can turn into emotional and psychological torture. Yeah, so let's just proceed to, but before that, when we say advantages of short-term credits, is it is, in short, a short-term loans need to be paid within about a year, not just year. Some others have like 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Compared to long-term credits, they have years, like 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, like something like that. So when of course, when we choose the short-term loans, it's also considered as a lower total interest, because the more you get the years to pay your loan, is the more higher you pay for the interest of your borrowing money. So yeah, so compared to long-term loans, the amount of interest is found in the income in oh yeah, it's also for those long-term loan, those interests found in the income statement, but can also fade as significantly less. So let's just proceed in disadvantages of short-term credits. First, we have short-term credits mature more frequently. When we say that, these conditions may place the firm in the tight position more often than necessary. Firms with slow-moving inventories, like those manufacturing capital goods, will have to worry about short-term creditors more often. Examples of these firms are those manufacturing airplanes and ships. Creditors may demand closure of the firm if its short-term liabilities are not settled. A long-term liability, on the other hand, provides the debtors with a wider breathing space for the implementation of financial strategies. So yeah, that's for number 1 of disadvantages of short-term credits. Let's proceed to number 2. We have short-term debts may at times be more costly than long-term debts. So what may say about that? When factors are like risk, collateral, general economic outlook, and the size of the loan are taken into consideration, short-term credits may prove to be more costly. So when we say disadvantages of short-term credits, of course, they more high cost loans than the advantages, of course. Typically, short-term loans attract high interest rates and high monthly payments, since we are financing principal debt over a shorter period. We may end up paying a significant amount of money every month compared to what we will pay if we are servicing a long-term loan. And also, it can be have a negative impact on our credit score. This is for number 2. Short-term debts may at times be more costly than long-term debts. Although we can use a short-term loan to build our credit score, like what I said in advantages, like you can take a short-term credits for you to improve your credit score, but you need to pay it on time for us to get that the good standing for credit score. But the consequences can be dire if we fail to repay it on time. Our new debt to income ratio plus the high cost new loan will drastically bring down your credit rating. And also, it can make us into fall in a cycle of borrowing. Also, the flexibility, convenience, and the easy availability of short-term loans can make a seasonal borrower. We will find ourselves hooked towards borrowing whenever we need some money, which is risky, not good. That means we may end up spending more than we can afford or waste a lot of money. So everything has like advantages and disadvantages. So maybe we do it the credits like balance when it comes to personally, because even if you use short-term or long-term credits, it has also bad and good effects to us. But yeah, as I said, when it comes to focus on my topic, when we say advantages and disadvantages of short-term credits, of course, typically, the longer you owe to the lender, the higher the interest we will pay. So, however, with the help of short-term loan, we will have be paying back everything within a shorter period, which means we pay less interest as well. We will still have saving money even if the interest rate is higher compared to that long term. So I hope you learned something from my topic. That's all for my report. Thank you and be safe.
Good morning. My topic is all about the trade creditors. Um, so what is trade creditors? The supplier extending credit to a buyer for use and manufacturing, processing, or selling goods for profits. Ang trade creditors kasi is supplier siya ng mga goods and services to customers in credit terms. Mga bills na kailangan mong bayaran. Next is the nature of trade credits. Is a form of credit extended by a firm to another firm. We have two nature of trade credit. The first is consumer credit. When the credit is extended to a final consumer, it is no longer qualifies as trade credit. When we say the consumer credit, ang credit ng consumer is personal na utang taken on to purchase goods and services. The second is installment credit. When the credit is extended to a firm in the purchase of machinery and equipment and secured by the equipment sold, it is no longer qualifies as trade credit. When we say the installment credit, ang credit ng installment ay isang pautang for a fixed amount of money. Next is trade credit appears in the book of accounts of the creditor as accounts or notes receivable. In the book of the debtor, it appears as accounts or notes payable. We have three trade credit instruments. The first is open book credit. Constitutes the bulk of trade credit. It is a form of financing, reduces the amounts of funds that the manager must raise from other sources. Um, when we say the open book credit, ang open book credit ay isang uri ng trade credit kung saan ang mga nagbebenta ay nagpapadala ng mga paninda um, on faith that payment will be forthcoming. The second is the trade acceptance, a time draft thrown by a seller upon a purchaser, payable to the seller as payee, and acceptable by the purchaser as evidence that the goods shipped are satisfactory and that the price is due and payable. When we say the trade acceptance refers to contractual obligation acknowledging the existence of a debt. The last is the promissory note, an unconditional promise in writing made by one person to another, signed by the maker, engaging to pay on demand or at a fixed, determinable future time, sum certain in money to or to order of a specified person or to barrier. When we say the promissory note, create a legally binding promise with a mutual understanding regarding the borrowing and repayment of money. We have two advantages of promissory note. The first is the time and the amount of payment are indicated, avoiding litigation over such matters. The second is promissory notes may be endorsed to other parties, allowing the creditor immediate use of funds tied up in such credit arrangement. The next is the cost of trade credit. The firms which extended trade credit normally provide incentive to firms which settle their accounts early. The incentives take the form of a discount like a 5% deduction from the price indicated in the invoice if settled within 5 days. When we say the cost of trade credit, costly trade credit refers to firms that pay after the end of the discount period, foregoing discounts and nagkakaroon ng malalaking gastos sa financing. Maaari silang magkaroon ng mga karagdagang bayarin at singil para sa huli ng pagbabayad. The last is this cost may be computed as follows. If the credit term is 5/5, net 60, which means a 5% discount is deducted from invoice from price if settled within 5 days. Otherwise, the full amount is due in 60 days. In short, may 5% kapag nabayaran within 5 days. Thank you and God bless. Keep safe, everyone.
Hello, sir. My name is Salvation Pitayco from BSPA FM 1A. My report is all about commercial bank. Commercial bank are the institution which individual or firm may tap as a source or short of term financing. In the strict sense, commercial banks are the corporations which accept or create deposits subject to the withdrawal by check. What do you mean by commercial bank? They refers to the financial institution that accept deposits, offer checking account services, make various loans, and offer basic financial products like certificate of deposit or CPA and saving account to the individual and small business. My example for this topic are the BDO or the China Bank. The function of commercial bank is to provide financial services to the general public business and companies. They also to make ensure economic stability and sustainable growth of the country economy. The next, we have banking system that component of four highly distinctive components. First is commercial bank, development banks, saving banks, and rural bank. The next, the development bank. We need to know about the development bank. The development bank is, so first, we need to know about, we need to back commercial. We all know that about the commercial bank. The next is development bank. The development banks are the financial structure that have the primary agenda of aiding structural development and providing loan to the agricultural and industrial sector. This is the development bank sample for the Philippines. The function as a multi-purpose financial institutions providing loan to the both private and public sectors and engaging in term lending and security investment. The next is we need to know about the commercial bank versus the development bank. What is commercial bank again? So commercial banks are the institutions where most people seek financial services. As a financial institutions, it's offering account services, deposit, loans, and other banking products like certificates for deposit. The commercial banks The next is development bank. Development are the financial structure that have a primary agenda of aiding structural development and providing loan to the agricultural and industrial sector. Meron pa ako ditong example ng commercial bank and development bank. The commercial banks are individuals, business, industries. Ito po yung individual lang siya. Then, the development bank, ito yung, my example for this is the government or the corporations. The next is what is the difference between the commercial bank and the development bank? The commercial bank are function to provide financial services to the industrials and individual where the development bank is set up to provide funds for the structural and economic development. The commercial banks that it provide services to the individual and industrial, while the development bank are the function that multi-purpose financial institution with the broad of development agenda. The next, the types of the short-term loans. First is, what is short-term loans? It means less than a year to finance your temporary working capital needs. We have two types of short-term loans. The first one is the unsecured loan. The unsecured loan is called clean loan, also no clean loan, or those we do not require collateral. No need, they not. For example, of the unsecured loan is credit card, personal loan, or student loan. And the second one is the secured loan. These requires collateral. My example is life insurance and vehicle loan. The next, secured loan are guaranteed for the following. We have two. First is the accounts receivable financing. These accounts are the AR financing type financing arrangements in the which the company receive financing capital related to the portion of its accounts receivable. The last one is Inventory financing. Inventory financing is a credit obtained by the business to pay upfront for the product that will not be sold immediately. The loan is the collateral by inventory is used to purchase. Inventory financing is most often used by similar private-owned business that don't have access to their options. That's all. That's all, sir. Thank you po.
Good day, everyone. In this section, I will introduce commercial paper. First, we began by defining what is commercial paper. Commercial paper is a money market instrument which is used by big corporate companies to raise money for short-term period. By the way, I'm Shaina Amor Vinluan, your reporter for today from BSBA FM 1A. So, what exactly a commercial paper? The commercial paper is a short-term promissory note, generally unsecured, and which is sold through a commercial paper dealer or direct to investors. Commercial paper are issued by finance companies and business firms that borrow funds in the money market. Firms that buy commercial paper are called commercial paper house or CPH. In effect, they finance the short-term fund requirements of borrowing firms. This type of financing is availed apart from short-term loans provided by commercial banks. Commercial papers houses includes banks and other finance institutions like those engaged in selling insurance, educational, pension, and maturity plans. Finance working capital requirements of companies. The commercial paper is an unsecured instrument issued in the form of promissory note. So, commercial paper is a popular instrument for financing the working capital requirements of the companies. It is unsecured instrument which is promissory note that is issued by a corporation typically to meet the short-term needs. It's also known as a finance paper, industrial paper, or corporate paper. Working capital, amount of money that used in day-to-day operation. You will be wondering that is working capital. Every company requires certain amount of money to carry on the daily activities. This money is very important to every companies because this is where their short-term obligation relate. Therefore, all the companies do have their working capital, which is short-term money means that is used for a period of a less than a year or maybe a year. So I have a short history for commercial paper. This instrument was introduced in 1990. It was introduced to India, enabling the corporate borrowers to raise short-term funds. It can be issued for 15 days to 1 year. Commercial paper can be transferred by endorsements and deliveries. So if I buy commercial paper, it can be transferred to a different entity. Subsequently, primary dealer and all Indian financial institutions were also permitted to issue commercial paper in a ball there to meet the short-term funding requirements for their operations. So, we have here an example. You had a lunch in a restaurant and the bill is 700 pesos. You give 1,000 pesos as a payment for your bill, but the cashier does not have a change, so the cashier gives you a paper and write it in it that you can either take 300 in cash or you can have a meal of 300 pesos from one of their branches within a 1 month only. The cashier sign it as a proof and issue stamp of the restaurant on it. So this is how commercial papers goes, and the firms that buy commercial papers are called commercial paper houses or CPH. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I am Evangeline Mater Nora, and I will your reporter for today, and I will discuss the factors. So first, what is factors? Factors is the one that perform financial service known as factoring. Financial service equal managing money. As we all know, the financial service is all about managing money. Factors responsible in managing the money of a business. Therefore, factors is the one that responsible sa pagmamanage ng pera ng isang company or business. And to have a deeper knowledge about the factors, I have here another explanation about it. That is factor is the security of a cash flow, which is factors. Factors is the one that ensure that the money of a business will have a good cash flow. Where the account received or the money received by the business from its customer to be used immediately by the business to purchase new equipment for a new order, to operate immediately the business for those responsible to ensure cash flow that we called factoring. To understand more about factoring, I have here a short video clips to help us and to know what is factoring into a business and how important factoring into our business.
So, what is factoring? Well, factoring is a way for business owners to get working capital to run their business and the peace of mind to know that they'll get paid. Alright, let's say you make furniture, right? And retailers all across the country sell your furniture in their stores. One day, one of the retailers places an order for 100 tables. So you ship them the tables and send them an invoice. Now that you've shipped the order, you need cash so you can buy the raw materials to make more tables and pay your employees. But there's a problem. The retailer might not pay the invoice for 30, 60, or even 90 days. But you need that money now, so you can restock your inventory and pay your bills. See, when a retailer places an order with you, the factoring company makes sure that the retailer is creditworthy to pay for the order. They keep records of all payments, so you always know which retailers have paid and which ones haven't. And they collect payments from retailers, so you don't have to. The advantage of this is that as soon as the tables have shipped, the factoring company could advance you a percentage of the amount of the invoice, so you can put that money to work right away, instead of waiting until the retailer has paid the invoice. Once the retailers pay the invoice, the factoring company remits the balance of the purchase price to you. If the retailer doesn't pay the invoice when it's due, the factoring company calls to follow up on payment. Not you. Even if the retailer goes bankrupt, the factoring company will still pay you the full undisputed amount you're owed. And that's how, with factoring, you can have the peace of mind that you'll get paid.
And now that we already heard what is factoring into business and how important it is, let us now recap the information about factoring. What is factoring? Factoring is a way for business owner to have their working capital to run their business and to have a peace of mind. Factoring is a way of a business owner upang magkaroon ng working capital or puhunan to run their business. And so, they don't have to worry when those who order them will pay or if they will pay dahil nga ito ay trabaho ng factory ng company. Now, let's go to the advantage that the factoring gives to the borrowing firm. Advantage that the factoring gives to the borrowing firm. Receivable provide collateral to the firm. It means that yung ibabayad sa iyo ng customer mo or yung tinatawag nating account receivable ay magagamit mo bilang patutuon na ikaw ay makakabayad ng iyong niloan or inutang sa borrowing firm. It becomes advantage of our borrowing firm because it gives insurance that the loan of business ay mababayaran, therefore hindi malulugi ang borrowing firm. The second is, account receivable financing provide flexibility to the firm as the firm requirements increases with increasing sales. The collateral to secure that financing increases automatically. On the other hand, should be saved, decline the needs for the additional financing subsides, and the load and the loan balance automatically reduce. Sa paggamit ng iyong customer ay ang pagdami ng naibebenta mong product na nagre-resulta ng mataas na account receivable o yung makukuha mong future bayad mula sa naibenta mo ay kasabay din nito ang pagtaas ng possibility na yung business ay maglo-loan ng borrowing firm upang may magagamit yung capital, yung working capital, therefore lalaki yung kita ng borrowing firm, and that explain why it is advantage for borrowing firm. That's all my report. I hope you learn, and thank you for listening. God bless.
Hello, good day po. For today's lesson, we are pointed to discuss the lesson 6, which is the sources of short-term capital. But before that, I will introduce myself. First, my name is Kyla Priel L. Perayray, taking the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in Financial Management 1A, your reporter for today. The topic 1 and the rest of topic 2 are already discussed by my group mates. And now, I will continue to discuss to you the topic 2. We are now on topic 2, the suppliers of short-term funds. We finished listening or watching the lesson 1, which is the advantages and disadvantages of short-term credits, and also the other supplier of short-term funds. So today, we are now in insurance companies. Insurance. Let me ask a question first. What comes into our mind or your mind when we say insurance? And guess? You're right. It is a monthly payable na binabayaran ng parents natin or the grandmothers or even you, na kung saan na anumang mangyari or anumang disgrasya ang mangyari sa atin, the insurance is nagigive ng financial protection against our losses. The example that is the Mahar here in our dito sa atin sa San Jose and the St. Peter. Later, we will discuss it, but first, let us define first what is insurance companies. Insurance companies. Insurance companies provide a stable source of short-term funds. A look at the placement activities of the insurance industry in the Philippines gives us a clue to its importance as a source of funding. Insurance companies normally invest on short-term commercial papers and promissory notes. The insurance companies provide a stable source of short-term funds. For example na lang natin is merong accident. But it depends sa ina-applyan ng insurance. Let's say the agreement is, if you encounter an accident or any circumstances happen, the company or the insurance companies will give you a financial protection just like what I've said earlier. For example, the agreement is the 10K, yung short-term funds so that you can pay the bills to the hospital or etc. Second is a look at the placement activities of the insurance industry in the Philippines gives a clue to its importance as source of funding. Ang insurance daw dito sa Pilipinas is ginagawa siyang source of funding so that, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if the circumstances happens so that we have a backup financially na mapagkukunan. Insurance companies normally invest on short-term commercial papers and promissory note. Commercial papers is an secured or discounted promissory note issued to finance the short-term credit need of large institutional buyers. Usually does not exist for more than 270 days. The average maturity of the commercial paper is between 30 and 35 days. Ito ang what we call the way ng mga companies, ng mga insurance companies para mapataas yung kanilang business, mapalago ang kanilang business. Ito yung way nagpapahiram sila ng money para in a short period of time para lumago ang kanilang business. Let's proceed to the type of insurance. There are 7 types of insurance. The life insurance or personal insurance, property insurance, marine insurance, fire insurance, liability insurance, social insurance. Life insurance or personal insurance. Life insurance is a type of insurance that compensates your beneficiaries when you die. The company will guarantee a payout for your beneficiaries or the people you designate to receive the compensation. In exchange of premiums, payments you need to make. The compensation your recipients will receive is called a death benefits. The life insurance is a type of insurance that when you die, the beneficiaries or yung family mo or yung gusto mong pagbigyan ng money na you make, na binayaran mo monthly, is may makukuha. Ito yung this is what we call the compensation. And the compensation that received by the recipient is called death benefits. The example of company that offer the life insurance is the Sun Life of Canada, Philippines. Next is the property insurance. Property insurance refers to a series of policies that offer either property protection or liability coverage. Property insurance can include homeowners insurance, renters insurance, flood insurance, and earthquake insurance, among other policies. Property insurance, it is a type of insurance that when the earthquake or flood happens, the company that offers the property insurance will shoulder the damages that happens from earthquake and flood. The example of company that offers property insurance is the AXA Philippines. Next is the marine insurance. Marine insurance covers the loss of damage of ships, cargo, terminals, and any transports by which the property is transferred, acquired, or held between the points of origin and the final destination. The marine insurance, ito yung type of insurance na kunyari may damage yung ships natin or yung cargo. Yung cargo is yun yung ginagamit na mga to export and import our product. The terminals and the transports, ito yung nagko-covers or nagsushoulder ng losses ng damage nito. For example of the company that offers marine insurance is Malayan Insurance. Next is the fire insurance. Fire insurance is a property coverage that pay for damage to property and other losses you may suffer from a fire. It covers the cost of repairing or replacing damaged property in your home, along with the cost of accommodation while your home is unusable. fire insurance, it's parang lang rin siyang property insurance. Kunyari, for example natin is yung bahay. When our house is nasunog, or they pay for the damage to our property kasi binayaran mo naman yun. So, sila na yung mag-shoulder ng insurance na yun. For example na lang natin dito is yung car debt, yung car bump. They offer the property insurance pala. May aunt kasi is they are nakasali sila doon sa insurance na yun. So, yung when the Ursula came, meron silang natanggap from that bank. And the example of the company pala that offers fire insurance is the BDO or the Unibank Corporation, and also the car bank that I said pala. Liability insurance. The term liability insurance refers to an insurance product that provides an insured party with protection against claims resulting from injuries and damage to other people, property. Liability insurance policies cover any legal costs and payouts an insured party is responsible for if they are found legally. Liability insurance. The liability insurance pala is the insurance that protects you against the accusation of others. For example na lang natin is, you are a doctor and the patient is already sick. In our term is, naghihingalo na. If the patient die, they cannot file you a case or accuse you because you are under the liability insurance. And the example of the company that offers liability insurance is the AXA Philippines. Lastly, the social insurance. Social insurance is a concept where the government intervenes in the insurance market to ensure that a group of individuals are insured or protected against the risk of any emergencies that lead to financial problem. Social insurance daw is a public insurance program that provides protection against various economic risks. Ito yung napatuloy ko, ano man mangyari sa ating ekonomiya, meron tayong backup, which is the insurance, the social insurance. For example, loss of income due to sickness. Pag tayo nagkasakit, nawalan tayo ng income, we have social insurance. Also, old age, yung tinatawag natin senior citizen. We have senior citizens here in the Philippines. Or the unemployment, pag nawalan tayo ng trabaho, tayo ay walan ng trabaho, pwede na yung magamit as a backup financial ang social insurance. The company that offers social insurance is the SSS or the Social Security System. How to apply ba in insurance company? It's easy lang naman. Just go to the nearest insurance company and make an appointment and ask them a needed requirements. So, yan, nakakakuha ka na nun ng mga insurances na yun. And monthly, you pay it. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, company Accurals. An Accurals is an expense that been incurred but not yet been paid. Accurals provide a source of short-term financing for business purposes. Ang company Accurals ay ang mga incurred expenses na hindi pa nababayaran ng company. There are two major Accurals. The first was accrued wages and salaries, and the other one was the accrued taxes. This liability included in the current liabilities section of the balance sheet of a business. I will show you the example of balance sheet. Accrued taxes, the taxes assessed on a company either on its earning or on the value of its property but which is not yet paid. Pag ang company ay hindi nabayaran o nabigay ang sabing accrued taxes sa specific date, ay maaaring may katapat na interest at penalties na maaaring makaapekto sa company.
Good morning, class. This is your reporter for today. I am Kiel Jeff T. A. Ramos. I am your reporter in Basic Finance. So ito po yung topic ko. Ito ang tungkol sa financing requirements of the firm. So meron po itong tatlong uri. Ito yung short term, medium term, and long term. So kung makikita po natin, napakarami pong branches yung short term. So ito po yung madalas nating, ito po yung ating papaliwanag ngayong araw. So ang short term financing means financing for the period of less than 1 year. So ang short term po, ito po yung kunyari yung mga utang, mga pautang na hindi siya tumatagal ng isang taon. The need of short term finance arises to finance the current assets of a business like an inventory of raw materials and finished goods, debtors, minimum cash and bank balance, etc. Short-term financing is also named as working capital financing. Short-term finance are available in the form of trade creditors, commercial banks, commercial paper houses, finance companies, factors, insurance companies, and company accrual. So yung pito po na ito po yung aking ipapaliwanag. Ito po yung una, yung trade creditors, suppliers extending credit to a buyer for use in manufacturing, processing, or selling goods for profits are called trade creditors. Credit extended by trade creditors in short term is usually unsecured and is known as trade credit. Commercial credit, mercantile credit, or account receivable credit. So ito yung mga trade creditors, sila po yung mga negosyante na kapag negosyo sila ay hindi pa nila bayad. So huli na yung bayad kapag nakakumita na sila. Kumbaga bibila sa iyo yung produkto na ibebenta nila, tapos ang bayad nila ay kunyari sa katapusan ng buwan o katapusan ng taon. So hindi siya to. Yun yung mga ng trade creditors. Trade creditors instruments. So meron pong ito po yung tatlong gamit ng mga trade creditors. Open book. The open book credit as a form of financing reduces the amount of funds that the manager must arise from other sources. For most of the financial weeks, for small firms, the open book credit is welcome source of inventory financing. They are especially benefited by these arrangements as most of them do not qualify for loans with banks and other financing companies. So ang open book, ito po kunyari kung gusto mo magnegosyo, so wala kang capital, wala kang malakang financiers, so ang open book yung ginagamit nila para manghikayat ng ibang mga investor na mag-invest sa kanila. Trade acceptance. A trade acceptance is a time draft drawn by a seller upon a purchaser payable to the seller as a payee and acceptable by the purchaser as evidence that the goods shipped are satisfactory and the price is due and payable. A buyer who honors the term of trade acceptance improves his credit standing and may later qualify for open book credit. Ang trade acceptance, ito po yung parang open book rin po siya, pero ito po yung isang mas matibay po na patunay na babayaran mo o yung biniling produkto sa tamang oras at sa tamang panahon. The promissory note, ito po yung pangatlo, the promissory note. The promissory note, an unconditional promise in writing made by one person to another, signed by the maker, engaging to pay on demand or a fixed determined future's time as certain money to or to order to a specific person or the bearer. This credit instrument is given to the creditors by a buyer who has a weak credit position. Promissory notes has two advantages. The time and the amount of payment are indicate avoiding litigation over such matters, and promissory notes may be endorsed to other parties, allowing the creditors to immediate use of funds tied up in such credit agreements. Promissory, alam po natin to na ito po yung agreement nyo. Kumbaga ito yung promise nyo sa pamagitan ng sulat na babayaran nyo yung utang ninyo. So ito naman po yung commercial bank. Commercial bank are institutions which individuals or firms may tap as source of short-term financing. In the strict sense, commercial bank are corporations which accept or create deposits subject to withdrawal by check. So ang commercial bank, alam po natin ito na sila gumagamit ng cheque bilang patunay sa transaksyon nyo sa kanila. Originally, the banking system is composed of four highly distinctive components consisting of the following: commercial bank, development bank, savings bank, and rural bank. So ang commercial bank, ito po yung mga Metro Bank, and development bank, ito po yung mga BDO. Savings banks, card. Rural banks ay Tamaraw, ito mga Tamaraw banks. Each components may function uniquely different from the function performed by other components. So ang mga components po na ito ay, ang mga components po ng bangko ay iba't ibang pong serbisyo. The functional difference, however, has been reduced by the reforms in the Philippine banking system, banking activities which have been previously exclusive for a component are now performed by another or all the other components. Developments back, for instance, now perform a previously exclusive commercial banking function of checking accounts. So, kung dati, components na iba't iba, so iba't ibang serbisyo, pero ngayon, nagiging lumalawak na rin ng serbisyo. Kumbaga, commercial banks, nagiging savings banks na rin siya, nagiging rural banks na rin siya. So, umiiba na rin gaya lang mga serbisyo, lumalawak na rin. Types of short-term loans. Short-term loans as distinguished from intermediate term and long-term loans are those which maturity periods of 1 year or less. Short-term loans are generally offered by commercial banks for purposes which include the financing of the business activities. Short-term loans are classified two types: unsecured and secured. Ang short-term loans, meron po siyang dalawang classification. So kanina paliwanag ko ng short-term loans, ito yung mga utang na hindi siya tumatagal ng isang taon. Unsecured loans are also called clean loans, are those which does not require collateral. So unsecured loans, hindi siya gumagamit ng collateral. Ang collateral po siya yun po yung pwedeng kuhain sa'yo kapag hindi mo nabayaran yung utang mo. Secured loans are those which require collateral. Ito naman secured loans, kabaligtaran siya ng unsecured loans, gumagamit siya ng collateral. Collateral is usually required when the credit standing of the borrower is inadequate to permit unsecured loans. In general, secured loans are granted for the following purpose: accounts receivable, financing, and inventory financing. Ito naman po tayo sa commercial paper house. The commercial paper house is a short-term promissory note, generally unsecured, and which is sold to the commercial paper dealers or directly to investors. Commercial papers are issued by finance companies and business firms that borrow funds in the money market. So, ang commercial paper, ito po yung parang open book rin to. So, kung gusto mo wala kang capital, gusto mo magtayo ng negosyo, gumamit ka ng commercial paper, so makakahikayat ka ng mga investor. Firms that buy commercial paper are called commercial paper houses or CPH. In effect, the financial short-term fund requirements of borrowing firms. This type of financing is availed of banks. Commercial paper houses includes banks and other financial institutions like those engaged in selling insurance, educational, pension, and mortuary plans. So, ang commercial paper house, sila po yung binubuo ng mga bangko, sabi dito ng financial institution, selling insurance, educational, pension, and mortuary plans. Sila po yung mga bumubuo ng commercial paper house. Finance companies are those which are engaged in making short and intermediate term installment loans to consumer, factor in finance business receivable, and finance the sale of business and farm equipment. Funds are raised by finance companies just like any other corporation by issuing stock and bonds, borrowing from banks, and selling the commercial papers. There are three major types of finance companies. These are the sales finance companies, business or commercial finance companies, and personal finance companies. Tatakal po natin kung tatlo natin. Ang una pa yung self-finance companies. Self-finance companies are firms specializing the purchase from retailer of the installments receivable arising out of retail sales, automobiles, household appliances, industrial equipment, farm equipment, and other durable goods sold on the installment payment plans. Ang self-finance companies, kung gusto mo lumaki kita, itong tutulong sa'yo, sila yung mga tutulong sa'yo makabenta kung ang produkto may automobiles, household appliances, industrial equipment, farm equipment. So, pero ang kailang start mo na ka ng bayaran ng installment payment plan, ibig sabihin hulugan po siya. Business or commercial finance companies. Business or commercial finance companies are lend directly to a wide variety of business, mainly of small and medium-sized. Short-term loans are granted by this type of finance companies against security or asset accounts receivable, inventory, and equipment. Using accounts receivable as collateral, the loan arrangement may be considered under any of the following: notificational fund or notificational fund. Under the notificational fund, the debtors of the borrower firms are not aware that the accounts have been pledged as collateral for a loan from a finance company. When the debtors are informed, the claim is of the notification type. So, ang mga commercial finance companies, sila pa yung mga tumutulong madalas sa mga small and medium size na company. Pero meron pa silang gumagamit ng collateral, which is yung accounts receivable, inventory, and equipment. Kung sabihin po nila nagagamit sila ng collateral, notification plan na po yun. Kung hindi po, na notification plan. Personal finance companies which are engaged specifically in personal are called personal finance companies. Their loans portfolio, however, may include miscellaneous business loans and commercial accounts receivable loans. Ang personal finance companies, sila pa yung tutulong sa iyo kung kailangan mo ng pera o kailangan mo ng kapital, pero sa sariling personal na pangangailangan mo lang. Factors from the financial service known as factoring, which consists of the purchases of accounts receivable at price without the source of the seller of credit losses. A factor takes it upon himself to collect incurred a claim for defective goods or disputes concerning shipments. However, it's not the responsibility of the factor. Factoring provides some explanations of the following firms. These are the following: receivable provide collateral for a loan that may not be otherwise available to the firm, and accessible financing provides flexibility to the firm. As the firm financing requirements increase with increasing sales, the collateral is to secure the financing increases automatically. On the other hand, should sales decline, the need for additional financing subsides and the loan balance is automatically reduced. And ang factors ito po yung kunyari nagpautang ako sa'yo, so babayaran mo sa loob ng 1 taon, pero kailangan ko ng pera. Kunyari yung ika-3 buwan na pinutang kita, kailangan ko ng pera, so hindi kita pwedeng singilin dahil sa 1 taon mo pababayaran yan. So ang mangyayari, bibenta ko yung promissory note mo, and then ang mangyayari, makukuha ko yung pera pero mas discount na, kumbaga mas maliit na, pero hindi na mahalaga yon. Ang mahalaga ay meron na akong pera dahil kunyari kailangan ko. Insurance companies provide a stable source of short-term funds. A look at the placement activities of the insurance industry in the Philippines gives a clue to its importance as a source of funding. Insurance companies normally invest on short-term commercial paper and promissory notes. Insurance companies, alam po natin kung nagsisecure sa iyo kung kailangan mo ng pera sa mga emergency na pagkakataon. Companies accruals. An accruals is an expense that has been incurred but not yet been paid. Accruals provide a source of short-term financing for business firms. There are two major forms of accruals: accrued wages and salaries, and accrued taxes. Salaries and wages ought to be paid as soon as they are rendered. If this not happen, however, and the delay in actual payments give the firm a source of short-term financing. Companies that pay their employees on a weekly basis increase the financing by paying bi-weekly. Accrued taxes normally takes a longer time lag before payment becomes due. As a source, business firms are provided as a source of financing for longer firms. Ang companies accruals, ito po yung mga gastos na hindi pa nababayaran. Kunyari, sa kuryente, gagamit kang kuryente pero babayaran mo yon sa katapusan buwan. Kaya sa mga accrued wage and salaries, ito yung nagtatrabaho sa yung mga tao mo pero hindi mo sila babayaran mo sila sa katapusan ng buwan. Accrued taxes, ito yung kumikita ka na sa loob ng 1 buwan pero saka mo babayaran yung tax ng kinita mo sa katapusan ng buwan. Medium term, ito naman yung pangalawang uri ng financing. So medium term financing means financing for the period of 3 to 5 years and is used generally for 2 reasons. So kanina ang short term ay hindi siya tatagal ng 1 year, ang medium term tumatagal siyang 3 to 5 years. One, when long-term capital is not available for the time being, and the second, when deferred revenue expenditures like advertisements are made which are to be written off over a period of 3 to 5 years. Medium-term financing source in the form of one of them. Ito yung mga example ng medium-term. Preference capital or preference shares, debentures, bonds, medium-term loans or from financing institution, government and commercial banks, lease, finance, hire, purchase, finance. Yan po yung mga example ng medium-term. Dito naman tayo sa long-term. So long-term financing means capital requirements for the period of more than 5 to 10 to 15, 20, or maybe more depending on the other factors. Capital expenditures on fixed assets like plants and machinery, and building, etc. of the business are funded using long-term source of finance. Part of working capital may permanently stay with the business is also financed with long-term sources of funds. Long-term financing source can be in any form of them. Ito pa yung example ng long-term. Share capital or equity, preference capital or preference share, retained earning or internal accruals, debentures, bond, term loans or financing institution, government and commercial banks, venture funding, asset securitization, international financing by way of euro, issue of foreign currency loans, ADR, GDR, etc. So yan po yung mga example ng long term. Ang mga long term po, ito po yung malaking pera na. So kailangan mo na mas mahabang panahon para mabayaran yan. So, yun lamang po ang aking report at maraming salamat.
I'm Demet Luino Blesa, BSBA FM 1A. This is my report about commercial banks in the Philippines. Before I proceed my report, we must know what is commercial bank. A commercial bank is a type of financial institution where most people do their banking. Commercial banks are financial institutions that accept deposits, offer checking account services, and make various loans. They also have products like saving accounts for individuals and small businesses as well as certificates of deposit. Ang gampanan ng commercial bank ay upang makatulong sa bawat tao at negosyo. Binibigyan nila ito ng benepisyo upang makatulong sa kanilang buhay. Pinapatibay rin ng commercial bank ang ating ekonomiya at panlipunan. Pinapanatili nito ang paglagaw ng ating ekonomiya. Commercial banks are controlled by the central bank in their respective countries. In the Philippines, commercial banks are regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The BSP imposes various conditions and prescribes the minimum level of capitalization of banks. Upang ating manawaan, ang BSP ay kumikilos bilang isang supervisor ng commercial banks at pinapabuti nito ang ilang mga regulasyon upang matiyak na gumana ang bangko sa loob ng mga itinakdang panuntunan na kanilang ginawa. Commercial bank products and services. In the Philippines, commercial banks offer various products and services to consumers and businesses. Some of them are deposit banking. You can go to a commercial bank to put your money for safekeeping. You can open savings, checking, or time deposit accounts depending on your needs. Sa deposit banking, pwede mo pagkatiwala ang pera mo kapag ikaw ay mag-iipon dahil protektado ito ng isang bangko. Credit cards. You can also get a credit card from a commercial bank whether you are a first-time card holder or not. This card lets you spend money via credit for goods and services. Sa panahon ngayon, karaniwan na itong ginagamit ng credit cards. Less hassle ito kapag ikaw ay nagbibili. Hindi mo na kailangan magbitbit pa ng pera at mga barya. Sa isang credit card lang, makakabili ka na ng mga pangangailangan mo. Loan services. You can apply for various loans offered by a commercial bank. Some of the loan types that may be offered are car loans, mortgage, personal loans, and business loans. Kapag ikaw ay nagangad ng isang bagay pero hindi sapat ang iyong pera para makuha ito, dito na papasok ang loan services. Ang loan services ang magbibigay ng pangangailangan mo upang madali mo itong makuha. Treasury management. Commercial banks offer the service to help clients make better use of their funds. Enterprises are the usual clientele of this type of service. Ang treasury management ang nagagabay sa isang negosyo upang hindi ito mauwi sa pagkalugi at pagkabagsak ng kanilang ginagawang negosyo. Insurance. You can also get different insurance policies in commercial banks. Insurance can protect you from financial losses caused by unexpected events and emergencies. Ang kagandahan sa pagkuha ng insurance ay makatulong ito sa iyo na matugunan ang mga gastusin sa panahong ikaw ay nakakaranas ng di kaya-ayang pangyayari. Wealth management. Commercial banks also offer wealth management to their clients. It is an investment advisory service that combines different financial services to address your particular need. Tuturuan ka ng wealth management na magplano at gamitin sa gusto ang iyong pera at kung paano maprotektahan ang iyong ari-arian upang hindi ito masayang sa hinaharap. #25 top commercial banks in the Philippines. We will find out here how were they started and succeed their commercial banks in the Philippines and what are their products and services that they can give. Here are some of the top commercial banks in the country. AUB. AUB started as a joint venture between Philippine industrialists and Taiwanese investment banks. It was granted the authority to operate as a commercial bank by BSP's Monetary Board in 1987. Their products and services: deposit banking, loan services, credit cards, and remittance. 2. Bank of Commerce. Bank of Commerce is the 15th largest bank in the country in terms of assets. It is a subsidiary of San Miguel Corporation. Their products and services: deposit banking, credit cards, loan services, trust investment, and treasury. 3. BDO Unibank. BDO Unibank was established in 1968 as Acme Savings Bank. It was later acquired by the SM Group. It has over 1,000 operating branches in the Philippines. Their products and services: savings accounts, checking accounts, credit cards, loan services, and remittance. 4. BPI. The Bank of the Philippines Islands has been around since 1851. It is one of the leading commercial banks in the country, offering various products and services to customers. Their products and services: deposit banking, checking accounts, time deposit, credit cards, and insurance. 5. China Bank. China Banking Corporation, also known as China Bank, was founded in 1920 in the Philippines. It is a member of the SM Group. Their products and services: deposit banking, credit cards, remittance, and loan services. 6. CIMB Bank. CIMB Bank Philippines is an all-digital bank with over 2 million customers since its creation in 2018. It was named International Finance's 2020 Best New Digital Bank Philippines. Their products and services: savings accounts and loan services. 7. Citibank. Citibank Philippines is the largest foreign commercial bank in the country. This commercial bank offers corporate banking, treasury, and consumer products and services. Their products and services: deposit banking, global banking, loan services, credit cards, and wealth management. 8. Development Bank of the Philippines. DPP provides development banking, financing, management, and remittance services to agricultural and industrial enterprises. Their products and services: deposit banking, trust banking, investment services, and development financing. 9. Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is a leading German bank with a global network. It gained a full commercial banking license in the Philippines in 1995. Their products and services: deposit banking, investment banking, asset management, and wealth management. 10. East West Bank. A subsidiary of the Philinvest Development Corporation, East West Bank was the first recipient of a commercial banking license after the Central Monetary Authority liberalized banking in the 90s. Their products and services: deposit banking, credit cards, loan services, and investment. 11. HSBC. The Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation is a British banking institution that has been in the Philippines since 1875. It serves over 40 million customers worldwide. Their products and services: deposit banking, credit cards, investment, and insurance. 12. ING Philippines. ING operates in more than 40 countries and has been in the Philippines since 1990. It offers digital banking services through its mobile app. Products and services: digital savings accounts. 13. Land Bank of the Philippines. Land Bank is a government financial institution founded in 1963. It focuses on serving farmers and fishermen. Their products and services: personal banking, loans, treasury, and trust banking. 14. Maybank. Maybank is a Malaysian universal bank that has been in the Philippines since 1997. For 2015-2016, it was named Brand of the Year, national tier by the World Branding Awards. Their products and services: deposit banking, checking accounts, loan services, and credit cards. 15. Metrobank. Metrobank is the second largest bank in the Philippines. More than 48% of the company is publicly owned. Their products and services: saving accounts, time deposit, checking accounts, and credit cards. 16. PBCom. The Philippine Bank of Communication, or PBCom, was established in 1939. It offers financial services such as deposit and corporate banking, cash management, and investment. Their products and services: deposit banking, loan services, investment, and cash management. 17. Philtrust Bank. Established in 1916, Philtrust is one of the oldest banking institutions in the country. It has branches in Metro Manila and major cities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Their products and services: deposit banking, loan services, and personal trust services. 18. Philippine Veterans Bank. Owned by World War II veterans, this commercial bank services cater to the retail and corporate financial markets. It has 60 branches nationwide. Their products and services: deposit banking, loan services, trust and investment, and Pension Express Padala. 19. PNB. The Philippine National Bank is a private universal bank founded in July 1916. It was the first bank in the country to reach the Philippine 100 billion mark in assets in 1996. Their products and services: personal banking, asset management, loan services, and investment. 20. RCBC. RCBC started as a development bank in the 1960s. It is now one of the biggest commercial banks in the country with over Philippine 7 billion of total consolidated resources as of the end of 2019. Their products and services: deposit accounts, loan services, global Filipino products, and cash management. 21. Robinsons Bank Corporation. This commercial bank is the financial services arm of the GG Summit Group of companies. It started as a saving bank in the 90s during the Asian financial crisis. Their products and services: deposit accounts, checking accounts, disbursements, loan services, and investment. 22. Security Bank. These financial institutions' businesses include retail, commercial, and corporate banking. In 2012, Security Bank was named Bank of the Year, Philippines by the Banker of the Financial Times of London. It is one of the most popular commercial banks in the Philippines. Their products and services: saving accounts, checking accounts, time deposit, investment, and loan services. 23. Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered was the first foreign bank established in the country in 1872. It was given the universal bank status by BSP's Monetary Board in 2001. Their products and services: consumer banking, credit cards, loan services, and wealth management. 24. Union Bank. Union Bank has 200 branches in the country with over 5 million customers. It started as Union Savings and Mortgage Bank in 1968, making it one of the most established banks in the country. Their products and services: deposit banking, loan services, cash management, and trust and investment. And last, 25. UCPB. Formerly known as Coco Bank, UCPB was established in the 60s as First United Bank. Today, it is one of the largest commercial banks in the country with over 100 branches nationwide. Their products and services: personal banking, investment, loan services, and treasury replacement. Nalaman natin na ang commercial bank ay nagbibigay ng madaling solusyon sa financial sa parehong mga mamimili at pati na rin sa mga maliliit na negosyo. Nalaman na rin natin sa isang commercial bank ay pwede pala tayo magdeposito ng pera upang sa ating pag-iingat nito. At maaari rin pala tayo makakuha ng mga credit cards at insurance at pautang para sa ating pangangailangan. Kaya bago tayo humanap ng bangko na pagkakatiwalaan ng ating pera, kailangan muna natin itong suriin kung ito ba ay naayon sa ating kagustuhan na pananalapi tungkol sa ating pera. This is the end of my PowerPoint presentation.
Hi, my name is Jeric Heiser de Guzman, and my topic for today is financing requirements of the firm. So first, we have financing. It's a process of providing funds for business activities, making purchase, or investing. So ito yung nagbibigay ng suporta sa mga maliliit na company, gaya ng pagko-commercial ng mga products nito, kung paano nila ito ibebenta, or i-invest na lang ito sa mga malalaking company. Sila yun. So we have a type of business finance. We have short-term finance, medium-term finance, and a long-term finance. First, we have a short-term. Short-term finance refers to the financing needs of small period, normally less than a year. This type of financing is normally needed because of uneven flow of cash into the business, the season partner of business, etc. In most cases, it is used to finance all type of inventory, accounts receivable, etc. So, parang ito yung pinaka madaling gamitin ng mga companies, mga maliliit na companies, or malalaki man, even kahit sikat na yung companies, ay pwede pa rin itong gamitin kasi nga ito yung mas reliable. Then, next is we have the medium term, which means financing for a period of 3 to 5 years. It used generally for two reasons. One, when long-term capital is not available for the time being, and second, when deferred revenue expenditures like investment are made, which are to be written off over period of 3 to 5 years, gaya ng sinabi dito na ginagamit ng ito kapag hindi available yung long term, and nagagamit ito lagi if yung mga investment ay masyadong matagal at umaabot ito ng 3 to 5 years. Then we have a long-term. Long-term finance can be defined as any finance instrument. Ito yung parang pinaka-mature age ng lahat ng terms, ng mga mid-term, ng short-term. Ito yung pinaka-high level. Then, in this topic, short-term finance is referred talaga. Kaya may mga topic dito na sa short term lang nag-rely, gaya ng trade creditors. A trade creditors is supplier that provides goods and services to its customer on credit terms. So ito yung nagbibigay ng magandang serbisyo, ng nagpo-provide ng mga bagay na naki-credit ng mga maliliit na company, kahit na malalaking company is ito yung magandang trade, magandang kapartner sa pagtitrade. Commercial bank. Commercial bank refers to the financial institution that accept deposit, offers check account service, make various loans, and offer business finance, basic finance products like certificate of deposit, and service account to individual and small businesses. Ito yung parang ah, pinaka-reliable na bank na puntahan kasi nga dahil sa pangalan pala na to, commercial, masasabi natin na nakapani-paniwala yung mga bagay dito. Pero meron din itong loans na natin secured loans or unsecured loans. Yung sa secured loans is yung mismong loan parang unsecured na is parang hindi sure yung loans na makukuha mo kasi nga depende sa sa pamumuhay ng isang investors. We have commercial paper house. Their works appears to be similar to the competitive with that the commercial banks. It's truly that render an initial different service, one that no other financial agencies is equipped to perform. So sinasabi dito na parang financial organizations lang ang coordinate ng commercial paper house. So mas madali na maka-access dito kaysa sa commercial bank kasi nga ito ay may iisa lang na organization or may organizations lang ang kailangan puntahan. Then we have finance companies. The finance companies which are engaged principally in personal loans are called personal finance companies. Their loan portfolio, however, may include miscellaneous business loan and commercial accounts receivable loans. So, sinasabi dito na itong company na to ay masasabi natin na isa siyang finance dahil nga pwede ka ditong maka-loan or may profit na makukuha ka dito. Ngayon yung sinabi dito na personal finance companies. Ito yung parang sa pang personal na needed. Then we have the factors. Naman natin kung ano yung mga factors na yan. Yan ay yung receivable and account receivable. Insurance companies. Insurance companies provide us stable source of short-term fund and look at the placement activities of the insurance industries in the Philippines give us a clue to its importance as a source of funding. Insurance companies normally invest in a short-term commercial paper and promissory note. Parang sinasabi dito na itong insurance is one of the biggest or parang pinakamalaking source na kailangan mo makuha kasi nga gaya ng sinabi dito sa short term pa lang sinabi dito is alam naman natin na ang short term is one of the partner of the companies, and ito ay parang goods for every companies. And we have a company Accurials. So sinasabi dito sa company Accurials is ito ay merong major objectives. Ito ay ang accrued wages and salaries and accrued taxes. So sinasabi dito na itong dalawa na to is the main source of parang strong build up ng company. Parang ito yon. So yun lang po at maraming salamat.